right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV live from the Twat Studios with Mighty Wayne, Gary, and Tim, one of the twins. On the show tonight, we got a lot of news. More Ilanga, more Joao Pedro, more of the same stuff every week until we are able to get a signing. So we're going to have a canny conversation. But before that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member, enjoy, and hit the like button. It's free and it costs nothing. So you just gotta hit the like, support us as we continue our journey to more Newcastle fans. How many subscribers we got, man? We got like over 5,000 somewhat. So when you're supposed to be the subscriber count,
5,340.
Woohoo! Boy, we getting up there, man. We getting up there. So hit the like button, share with all your Magpie friends. Let them know what we do over here. So thanks to all the mods, everybody that's on the channel. We added mods on the fan forum as well because you guys are too naughty, man. Too naughty, boy. You just can't. I mean, it's just my goodness. Anyways, we got Philip as well from Toon Tactics TV. How's it going, Philip?
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we hear you, man.
Yeah, you, Phil.
You can't hear us.
Hello, dude.
I hear you guys.
Oh,
he's having issues.
Oh, he's having that issue again.
He's having the issue.
Oh my goodness, he's having that issue. That's the one issue that we can't get rid of for some reason. Try to get rid of Win, didn't work. Try to get rid of the other issue, the mute button, and it doesn't work. So I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to sort that out. Win, make sure you message him though. To restart. I don't know. That stuff does my head in, man. I'm telling you. Some people can't join. I don't know for what reason they can't hear us. But regardless, smash the like button. So what do we got in store here? Well, let me look at the thumbnail because the thumbnail dictates what we're going to talk about. We don't want to clickbait people, and we put Joao Pedro there. We got to talk about Joao Pedro for the second, third time in a week. So we got Anthony Gordon possibly leaving Liverpool, eyeing £100 million Gordon deal. Who made that? Who made this clickbaiting title, man? Mighty Win. What the heck? Well, it's not. I mean, it's not necessarily. It's not a deal or anything like that. But it is true that the rumor is out there now, from big reputable sources, that Liverpool is eyeing this move. We're going to talk about that. Livramento shines for England as well. That's something that we certainly need to talk about. And we might be facing competition for Marc Guehi. Is that good? Is that bad? Some fans, I'm sure, is going to think, yeah, good. Hey, let him go somewhere else. Ilanga as well, and it looks like Newcastle have made approach to Brighton for Joao Pedro. So we're gonna discuss everything related to that. But how's it going, fellas? All good?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Good in the neighborhood, man. We got Tim is dealing with some problems.
We've got all this Anthony Gordon stuff, and yet he does an interview with Sky TV and says, everything's hunky dory, everything in the garden's rosy.
Right, and what was the expectation for him to say?
But if you give me 100 million, I'll take it.
So the expectation wasn't for him to say, "Nah, I can't stand. I can't wait to leave Newcastle. As soon as I get an offer, I'm leaving." I don't think that would be the case. Do you hear us, Philip?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you, man. We got Philip from Toon Tactics TV. Nice channel. Growing as well, so appreciate that, and subscribe to Toon Tactics TV.
Thank you for the invite.
Great stuff, so man. It's been a while since we had you, man.
Yeah, it has.
You playing hooky, man. What's up?
And I'm the only one that's losing hair. All of you guys. It's crazy.
Mine was forced, man. I was forced, man. You know what I'm saying? I was forced, but
came back quick enough, like.
It is good. It is. I don't like how my hairline though. It's a couple of holes there. It's not filling up as fast.
Hairline. My one's like the desert, man.
Oh man. So we got a lot of transfer news to discuss. I guess the first one I got here. Actually got the live feed from Sky Sports here on everything Newcastle related. And the earliest that we can talk about is the Ilanga situation. Now, first of all, a lot of people don't like Ilanga or don't rate him or wouldn't welcome him. Or I mean, I would say they would welcome him, but the point is that he wouldn't be the right wing to go get or the winger to go get. But I don't have an issue with Ilanga. And Newcastle, according to this, have made an initial inquiry with Forest about signing Ilanga this summer. Eddie Howe is a long-term admirer of him, 23 years of age. Obviously, we know that the late move that we made last window didn't work out, but regardless, it looks like we're back in him, and we've was it our first offer decline or something like that for 40 million? I read somewhere.
40,
If we're not, the
40
Chronicle said
plus 5 add-ons I've heard so far.
decline, mighty win. So, well, I mean, Elanga can be all good. I mean, you know, a good player to add. But what is the top price that we would pay for him? 40 million plus add-ons. I mean, that's pretty good, I would say. How much more? Are we gonna pay 60 for Elanga? What do you think,
Well,
Win?
here's where I stand on it, right? If we are going to add quality players, first team ready players to the squad, realistically, you've got to be paying, they've got to be worth 60 million minimum. Because if they're not, how much are they really going to enhance the squad?
Well,
that's where I'm at now. You know, the one thing I don't want to get drawn into was another bloody Guehi saga, like last summer. You know, we should go. We'll say that's on the table. If you want to take it, if you don't, we're out of here, and make that public, and give them whatever. Say they've got a week to accept the offer. If they don't accept it, we're going to look elsewhere.
Yeah, but okay. So what? You just Forrest just says yes, sir, no problem. Like,
Well, it's up to them.
Yeah, but I mean, but Elanga's made it clear. I think he wants to. He's looking for an opportunity to leave Champions League football. But let me go to Philip though, because he, you know, let's be. Actually, that was very rude of me bringing guests without letting them speak first and
No, that's okay.
letting Mighty Win take the conch when he doesn't deserve it. Philip May, you know, what do you think about Elanga? You know, what's your scouting report say? Because I know you're about tactics, man. So what's your scouting report on him?
Yeah, I think Eddie Howe's intention, whether people, whether people like Elanga or not, I think Eddie Howe really likes him. So why does he like him? I think primarily, obviously, his speed, the fact that he can go either side, left or right, can use both feet in crossing, so you can either cut in or go on the outside. So he can do what Jacob Murphy does, which is obviously being the right-footed winger, traditional right-footed winger, but he can also use his left foot and cut in the inside. So he really likes that part. And I think he's looking at it in two ways, that when Newcastle play against low blocks, you've got a right winger that can go either side, which he really, really likes. It's yet to be proven how good Elanga is against low blocks, but I think Eddie Howe's backing him to do it. But obviously, in the transition, he's absolutely electric. We know that because of what he's done against for Nottingham Forest as well. He's a good presser. He's working a lot better in his defensive work, and I think Eddie Howe backs him to. He hasn't reached his ceiling. Is what, 22, 23? So we can say it's about a year, maybe 18 months away from his peak. So I think he's expecting a lot more from him in terms of continuing to add to his already growing outputs and assists, but probably wants to add a little bit more to his goals. So I think Eddie Howe sees a lot more potential in him. I'm prepared to kind of to trust in that, just because of our track record so far with our transfers has been really, really good. So yeah, I mean, if I think in terms of people not perhaps liking him, I think you'd have to just. It's not to say that there isn't better right wingers, but who are those right wingers, and are they available? So if there are, then be glad to hear them. But I can see Eddie Howe's intention with Elanga. I can see what he wants with him, to be honest. And he can play obviously either side. He can play across the front three. Mm-hmm. For Forest, he's even been playing through the centre sometimes as well. So he's got that to his bow. So yeah, good player. And the last thing I'll say on him, when Man United were doing absolutely horrendously badly with the kind of bad, when famously Ralph Ragnick said that they needed heart surgery, the one player that he really, really, really liked, who showed good attitude in training, everything that in his application, was prepared to do running, prepared to do the hard work, was Anthony Elanga. And so I think there shows some character and some resilience there. And again, that's an Eddie Howe trait that he'll really love. So yeah, he's got the real kind of ingredients there to be something good, something special.
We add DXK to the conversation as well, all the way from Southampton, our official reporter down south. To tell, unfortunately he hasn't brought any good scouting reports from anybody down there.
Pile of Dibblings on his way.
But that's it. He ain't never gonna come to us. He'll go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He's valued at
He's going to Porto.
like 2 billion, a pound release clause.
Doesn't need a stepping stone, does he?
But so all right then. I mean, Gary, what do you think about Ilanga? I guess 40 plus million ain't good enough. So
well, they've asked for around about 60 million euros. So what's that? 57, 58 million. Listen, I agree to disagree with Phil with some of the stuff that he said. I mean, you've only got to look at the lads' stats per 90 over the season. You know, you got the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's 0.20 goals, and Elanga's 0.22. The biggest problem with me, yes, he's got speed. It's the final third that worries me with Elanga. He just doesn't seem the type of player, and we've had these type of players before with ASM. Got all the skill, got all the flair, can get past the player with pace, but it's what they do in the final third. And I just don't think. If Elanga was all that, I think there'd be many more knocking at his door. Like you said, the price is the price you seem to pay for anybody that's shown anything over the last season or two. But I think, if I'm absolutely honest with you, when I look at the players that are out there that you would get a very similar ilk, if you look at his XG, you'd pay half the price for him. And I think that is, for me, it's a case of, are you just paying for Premier League proven players rather than actually the quality of the player? And for me, I am still on the fence with Elanga, I must admit. He certainly doesn't blow my frock up.
Now Ilanga involved in 6 goals and registered 11 assists across 38 Forest Premier League games. So I mean, that is, I think that's very impressive for a team that did do good. They certainly needed Forest, or Forest needed him as well. Rather said, and he was assisting who? Chris Wood. I mean, maybe assisting is his game. I mean, the thing though that Phil brought up, and I'll go to Tim, is that he can do. He said he can do what Murphy did. Murphy did great this season, so I guess you can take that. It depends how you look at it, because Murphy in his career has been not been a prominent player, but the last season, very much a pretty good season. So can Ilanga repeat that? How many goals could he score? What would he do with that duo between him and Isak? I think it could be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know. It would be interesting to see what they do for Sweden. I wouldn't. I have no clue. Obviously, having watched them since they had Zlatan Ibrahimovic, so I don't know. But maybe they have a good partnership there. So Tim, would you be open minded to? How much would you pay for Ilanga if they don't take 40 plus?
Well, I think one interesting thing is his age. It feels like he's been around for a lot longer.
Right.
Than to be just 22. Is it 22, 23 years
23,
old?
Yeah.
So I think, right. And Murphy's like 29, isn't he? 30. So to be fair, I think if you've got those two, it's a nice combination where, one's a bit older, one's younger. And I've always said that if we have one inverted winger on one side, I wouldn't mind having a traditional winger on the other side going down his natural right foot. And Langer would give you that, like Murphy's given us that this year. But obviously Langer's younger, so he's got more scope maybe to improve further. I do have the same. I mean, I like him as a player. I've always, like, last few years, I've seen him come on at Forest, and I was surprised. I thought, bloody hell, like, why did Man U let him go? So on the face of it, I would like him, but I do have the same concerns around facing teams who sit deep. Ideally, you'd have somebody who comes in who unlocks the door more in those sort of games. I mean, it does kind of tie back to João Pedro as well, because if we got both of them, I think that would make the Elanga deal better, because João Pedro can potentially, I think, bring that technicality to unlock doors a bit more as a number 10. So I think it kind of depends on that. I think if we didn't get Elanga, and like I say, I like somebody going down the line and getting the crosses in, but if we wanted to try and have somebody a bit more technical, then maybe somebody like McAtee. I mean, I haven't seen him loads, so somebody could judge him better than I could, but I was surprised that McAtee is 22 years old. I thought he was like 18 or something.
Yeah.
So, like, 22
He's been around a bit.
Aye. He's ready to go somewhere to play. So, like, if he's half as good as what his reputation is, it's somebody maybe of that ilk where they can unlock doors. And then you've got Murphy who can, go on the outside. You've got a bit of a combination there. It's a hard one. I think it does, for me, I think with Elanga, it depends on other transfers. Like I say, I like João Pedro. I like him as a player. I really like him. I think he's quality. But it's just having those options to unlock doors in certain games.
Yeah.
Phil,
very good.
you were saying, weren't you, about you quite like Madueke?
Noni Madueke.
Yeah. I think
I'm gonna bring that up.
many people in my chat don't. They were celebrating when they heard that we're not getting him. Yeah, I do like the technical quality of Madueke. I understand that people keep on comparing him to the likes of ASM and things like that, but I think he's a very good technical dribbler. There's a lot more potential within him. Once he gets his shot selection a little bit more better, I think he'll work a lot. He'll be a lot more potent. I think my ideal right wing forward would be in the mold of a Cole Palmer, so almost like a playmaking type right winger. But there's not many profile types, maybe a Kulusevski and others, but maybe those guys aren't available. So I'm just trying to see, when I'm kind of looking at Elanga and I'm speaking, I'm just trying to understand what Eddie Howe's intention is when, out of all the players he can get, why is it, for instance, Elanga and what he's looking at. So I think he is kind of backing Elanga to be that person. And I think he's looking at that relationship with Isak. Interestingly, for Sweden, Elanga plays on the left. Elanga plays on the left, Kulu goes on the right. He starts off central, Kulu, but then goes on the right with obviously Isak through the centre. And obviously when Gyökeres plays, and Gyökeres as well. So they kind of do a 4-2, hence we spoke about João Pedro, for instance. So Sweden can play in a 4-3-3. They do play in a 4-2-3-1 with Isak behind Gyökeres. He'll go on the left if they want to change it up a little bit. He'll go on the left, Gyökeres through the middle, and Kulu on the right type of thing. So I think we're looking for some sort of flexibility with that. I do think João Pedro makes a huge difference in terms of how we play. I think Eddie Howe just wants to have that kind of ability to kind of add to the transition type of play, but also be able to go on the low block as well. And the fact that Elanga is very comfortable either on the right or the left, it gives that sense of unpredictability as well. So, but yeah, I think I really like Madueke, but I think what edges it for in terms of Elanga is the fact that he's got a relationship already with Isak playing for Sweden.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you need to look at, sorry, Chris, is the fact that if you have a look at the likes of SofaScore, I mean, I very rarely use SofaScore, but if you do a comparison, actually Elanga and Jacob Murphy are very similar in ilk. But like I say, for me, it's the end product. And if you look at it, I want somebody who, again, we have to look at what formation Eddie Howe may go to. Is he going to go back to this 3-4-3 system, or is he going to continue with a 4-3-3? I think there's going to be a little bit of give and take, especially in Europe, depending on the opposition. If I was going to go down the roads of having a Premier proven player, I don't think you can go any further than the likes of Semenyo, who can play across left and right. He gives you that pace. He has got that defensive quality.
Don't say that. The Eddie Bournemouth brigade will be out in force.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you didn't want to go out and pay the €60 that he's expecting, there's a player out there that would probably come, a little bit cheaper. I'm not going to say it's going to be a lot cheaper, but it's going to be more around the £40 million mark.
Do you rate him better than Elanga? Sorry, do you rate him better than Elanga?
Well, yeah, I do actually. I think, again, you look at the tactics that Eddie may want to bring in, and if you look at the defensive work from Semenyo compared to Elanga, Semenyo gives you that little bit more.
Let me go with the DXK, who's been there waiting to get a response. So, what do you think about this whole debate on the winger? Would you take Madueke, Ilanga?
I wouldn't take Madueke. I don't. I just don't really. Whenever I've watched him play, apart from one game, I think he got a hat trick right at the start of the season. I haven't seen him do very much. That's got me out of my chair. It doesn't excite me as a player. I do. I think Alanga, he's got potential to be a decent player, but again, it's not a play. It's not one that really excites me. The one I wanted, it's that I've done now really is in Burmo, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but look, I trust the process. I'm one of those people. If we get these players, Alanga, Pedro, I think Pedro could be a good signing. You know, then the front line does look quite good with those players. With the players we've already got, the options will be good. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin, he's one that people want. But no, he's not.
Oh man, we're gonna get into that, I'm sure.
No,
But
but he might come in as a third. I just think we're going to get him. I've got a very
well,
fun
and you might be right because that's easy to get. So all the easy deals we can
free
get,
transfer.
if it's me walking down the street, they'll sign me in a heartbeat.
It's like
But
in the days when we were getting Jeff Hendrick and people like that. It was very easy. There was no competition.
yeah,
Jeff Hendrick.
so
But for these players now that we're going for the top, not quite the cream of the crop, but the next level of the crop.
now,
And they could develop as well, couldn't they? That's the
Yeah.
thing. We can get them now when they're a bit raw and develop them where they are, then cream of the crop potentially. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's just the competition now is so much greater. I think I can't remember who it was, but we were linked with a player that Barcelona or Real Madrid were being linked with, and I was like, Jesus, things have changed, you know. So
Now,
it's good in a
what,
way, I suppose.
what do you guys think about the Joel Pedro then? Because it seems like we have stepped up our interest. I don't know what that really means. I mean, I don't know what stepping up your interest means. I guess you just say Joel Pedro. I want him like a little bit harder. So I'm not sure here, but the Telegraph is saying this. And Brazilian international. I mean, to be honest, I am excited about this one. But then again, people are saying, what's the difference between him, Ilanga, or some saying that Ilanga's done more than Pedro. So he's got 10 goals. That's the magic number for Mighty Win to love Callum Wilson. So
I don't think Alanga, stats wise, output, if you want to say that, is any better than Murphy.
It's not as good as Murphy. Is it?
Well, this year,
but
you
he's
can't. You gotta
better
look
on the eye.
Well, no, forget the eye. I mean, he's better on trust.
The bottom line is it's results that count, and it's outcome. And
but then Ilanga can get better, can't he? And then Murphy's 30, so it's like I can see the idea.
Everybody's been waiting for the wheel to fall off Murphy's stagecoach, but it's still on.
Aye.
For one season, man.
Well, then.
No, he's been good for a few seasons, hasn't he?
No. I don't want to hear that nonsense because last season, people were debating whether they wanted. Some people wanted to get rid of both. They were still debating which one was the less of a bad player between him and the Almiron. So come on, man. We forget so quick in this channel, man. I tell you, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I think he did well. I think Murphy. Not the season gone, but the season before, Champions League season. I think he did well. He's inconsistent, but I think he's gradually improved for me every season. But obviously, like you say, we've got to still strengthen that area and give him competition. He's 30, so we need somebody else to come in and be an upgrade and rotate as well.
Squad, because he's a very valuable squad player, Murphy. But obviously have someone else who's the front runner for that position, and preferably someone who can maybe also play through the middle. That would be good. That's kind of the dream. But
I mean, there was a drop off, but he still got 10 goals and assists with his things last season. So 23, 24, you come back with 10. And then before that, it was 6. Now, when you put him next to Miggy, and like I say, he doesn't play as many minutes as you think he has this season. But last season, he come back with 10 GAs, and he only played 21 games in the Premier League. I'm not saying he played
11,
full games either.
11 GAs, Gary, according to Transfer Market.
What, in the 23, 24?
Yeah, it says he got 3 goals and 8 assists, which is.
I've only got 7 here.
This screen is just whose screen is this, by the way? Oh, Win. So
That's Anthony Elanga.
Anthony Langa, what are you trying to prove?
As,
He can play on both sides.
he's on the left as much as he's on the right,
Yeah, there you
and he
go.
doesn't come and defend very often at all.
No, exactly.
Right. But but that right there that he doesn't defend, that is a Eddie Howe problem. I mean, if he doesn't feel like he wants his winger to do that, then I mean that's his prerogative on how to play. If he want he's trying to go get him for a reason, unless he thinks I'm going to ask him to do this and he's going to do it, which is fine as well. So how to play is really up to the manager, don't we think? Or unless Gary, you think that it is essential in today's football for the winger to come down in order to succeed?
I think you haven't got many teams that have quality throughout, like ball playing quality. So the likes of Liverpool, who will just leave, and to be fair, the likes of Brentford, who have done very much the same. With Mbuemo, who'll just leave them on the halfway line for that long clearance over the top, and we've seen the damage that Liverpool can do. We've got the 3-3 and then the 2-0 at their place. They absolutely stripped us at times. Again, down that left hand side, our left back is always going to be on his toes, and these are the type of players that, same as Forest. Forest draw teams on and then hit on the counter. So it's that ball over the top for the speed merchants. And if, you look at where Nottingham Forest, unfortunately, they fell away, the wheel fell off towards the end of the season, but they were up in third position for a long period of time. Now, for me, yes, you've got to have players that are willing to chase anything at the other end of the field. But it's that when you look at his contributions, Elanga's contributions to the whole side of it, his output isn't brilliant in that final third. Yes, he gets on the end of balls, and yes, he'll keep hold of the ball and play it in. But I mean, like Mateus Sula, for me, you've got to start looking at players that do both jobs, because that's Eddie's play. Eddie likes the players to drop into a position, make a stronghold, either 4-5 or a 5-4, whichever way you want to play it. So he will continue to play that way against big teams, and then look to counter quickly on the break. So hence we're always looking for this right centre ball playing centre back, because obviously we know Fabian Schär isn't getting any younger. So there's multiple positions within our squad that need strengthening, but we need better regarding strengthening rather than just going for the same. And like I said, I don't use SofaScore very often, but if you go in comparison of Jacob Murphy and Elanga, they're literally like twins. So are you actually getting an improvement apart from age rather than quality? And I think, yes, you can say that, with a little bit of Eddie influence, you could potentially make a better player, but I think it's a gamble for 60 million euros.
Well, that is important as well. Now, the Joao Pedro thing, I don't know. I mean, I think but what caught my attention, I think Philip said it. Who was it? Tim. That if we get both, I think it was Tim. If we get both, that is, I mean, that's massive, in my opinion. I didn't think that was on the table. I thought it was going to be one or the other. But if you get both, man, that is. I think that's an upgrade, for real on the attack.
Well, with Pedro, definitely, because I mean he can play across the three up front, and you lose nothing.
But then, no, finish. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the only thing that worries me with Joao Pedro is not being as clinical in front of goal as I'd like to. I mean, he is good playing in that number 9 slot, and he certainly knows how to run the channels. But when you marry him up to that next level of, is he that quality finisher? Well, at this present moment in time, no, he's not. But he's certainly an upgrade on what we've got already that can play in that 10 role, as the lads have said. But that would then go on and prove that Eddie Howe has to change his system again and play this 4-2-3-1, which we've seen glimpses of over the last couple of games. But again, is that a mindset that Eddie wants to move to?
Yeah. That will lead us into the topic that is kind of, it's pretty hot right now amongst Newcastle fans. Written by the Daily Mail, also by Goal.com, and that talking about wingers. What does that? If we get both, what would that mean for Gordon? Gordon has been linked today, Liverpool eyeing a shocking 100 million pound move for boyhood fan from Premier League rival as champions look to continue their spending spree. 100. If that comes in, 100 million pounds, I'll sell my soul for 100 million for 20.
Don't say that.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing. But 100 million pounds. I don't think there's a fan in this world that wouldn't approve that.
No, I
Well,
think you're
I mean,
right.
he's going to Liverpool, but do we really think that we are in Liverpool's category right now to be not selling to them? I don't know.
I'd sell, no doubt. Like,
Yeah, for 100 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
to be honest, right? I think I have said it before. Like, I think I would sell at 70, and I'll rate Barnes. I would be happy for Barnes to be our left winger.
Mm.
And for me, what you do if you get, I mean, you know more of the accounts than
Well, the
me.
twat
So
account.
if you got 70 million, I'm assuming you could get 2 or 3 players with that, or not. Maybe I'm wrong.
I wouldn't take 70 million.
Well, for me, right,
If
you
they
know, I
want,
would.
if they want them, they've got to pay through the nose. We're not a selling club.
Oh, I would haggle and I would try and get as much as I can. But I think if you can get a significant fee for Gordon, just my personal preference, like I'm just not sure about him at the top level, and I think Barnes is more ready-made in that he will give you more of an output in the final third. And if you got that money, I would then use that money to get a younger left player to come in, and then the rest of the money can be used on the main right winger that you want. And you don't have to then have these worries about juggling money for all these players that you want. You've got more room to work with then. So it's kind of sacrificing one player, but then you're able to get a few more for the sake of the team. And we shouldn't be. Obviously, we don't want to be a selling club, and we don't want to sell many players. Like Tino, I'd want to keep Tino, but if we're going to sell somebody, for me, it will be Gordon because you're going to get a good fee for him, and you can
I
use
mean,
that for the rest of the front three.
if the club were to say we need to sell somebody, and it's between Livramento or Gordon, I would not sell Gordon. I mean, if that's the case, if I had to cash in, I would do Livramento. But I wouldn't turn down 100 million pounds for Gordon. Certainly on the contract, on the kind of money he is on per week, and he hasn't proven that he deserves that.
So
Then I
you
wouldn't.
say.
Well, yeah, that's what I speak. I speak for Chris Rodriguez. I don't know about you,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's what I speak for.
Hey,
Uh,
what's this breaking? Sorry, lads, breaking news.
Oh, there we go.
No, but listen, we're gonna take that with a pinch of salt with cause Mighty Win, because he's breaking news. He's the ITK in
Hey,
charge
hey,
today.
hey!
It's the new ITK.
Apparently, the fixtures have been leaked.
Well, somebody sent me that, but
Eh?
I don't know about
Surely not.
Happens
somebody
all the
sent
time, though, doesn't it? Every summer. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff gets leaked, and as
every
it
so. Come
happens,
on, man.
not
Hey,
to
Win,
be
we're talking serious business here, man. Stop bringing out the ITK stuff, man. Come on, Philip. What do
Yeah.
you think about Gordon? Would you sell for 100 million? What do you think about this?
I think the only reason we would sell is if he wanted to go.
Ooh.
I don't think when we say, I think we can reject 100 million. We don't necessarily need to take, we do need to sell players, but I prefer we sell players. I think Gordon is a Champions League level player, hence why Liverpool are looking at him in the first place. He's one of the best lengthening forwards in Europe. That there is no doubt. He's at least a level, maybe two above Barnes as much as I rate Barnes. And there's more gears to go to him. Did he tail off? Yes. I personally think that's to do with the fact that Lewis Hall was injured for the last 6, 7 games or whatnot. I think without Lewis Hall, I know that Livramento obviously came in on that left, but I think I think if you look at how Lewis Hall dictated a lot of the play for us when he was playing, I mean, those games where he had more touches on the ball than Bruno did. And so that affected Gordon a little bit. That's not to take away accountability from Gordon. Could he have done better? For instance, the Arsenal game, getting dispossessed, falling on the floor and costing us a goal. All those type of things, yes. But I do think that Gordon is a Champions League level player. I think ideally Howe wouldn't want him to leave. I think he'd want to add Ilanga and João Pedro together to play with Gordon if he could, and sell Barnes, Longstaff, Willock, possibly a couple other people to make up 50, 60, 70 million pounds in sales. But ideally would want to keep Gordon. I think there was something of note where essentially that if Liverpool were to come in for him with a certain number, we wouldn't necessarily stand in his way. But I don't think it's because we're a selling club. I think we've already proven that last year with Bruno Gomes when City came looking for him. I think we're going to prove it this year with Isak and others. But I think the only reason Gordon will go is if he wants to go, and Liverpool come with a number that we agree with. But I wouldn't. Ideally, I don't think anybody want to sell him.
But
think that-
presumably, though, if Liverpool are seriously interested in Gordon, they've got to let go of either Diaz or
Yeah.
Or not.
Gapco.
Or not.
Now then, if
Or not.
that's the case,
No, stop with this conspiracy trading.
how about
Nonsense, man.
Gordon for Diaz
God.
and
I like Gakpo.
let
I'll take-
I'd rather have
Harvey
Diaz.
Elliott?
Here's my
Okay,
take.
so-
I think we should try and
I'd rather have Diaz over
Offer
anybody, to be honest.
Villa. We should try and offer Villa the money they need plus Barnes for Morgan, and just try and get
Plus
him.
Barnes. No. We ain't
Yeah.
gonna put Barnes in there.
Well,
man.
Morgan's come on, he's the big.
Yeah,
No,
we've,
no.
got the, we've got the outside corners in the Barnes camp here.
No,
No, I like
Barnes
that.
has saving your season,
I like
man,
Barnes. I like
from
Barnes.
the bench.
He's nearly 28, and I think if you could get Morgan Rogers for, 30 or 40 million plus Barnes, then you've done a good bit of business there. You've got a young 21-year-old talent.
Yeah.
That'd be, but it won't happen. Villa won't sell
Well,
him.
this also comes from the Sun. So a lot of big media outlets saying this, that Gordon is said to be high on their wish list following talks last summer, and it was very much real that he was near leaving Newcastle United. So I don't know. He's won a trophy already. With Newcastle. For him, maybe repaying that favor of, I don't know, saving him from Everton, or the fact that he did say multiple times, I want to win a trophy with the club. He's done that already. So I don't know. I wouldn't automatically say that this. And by the way, the Colombian, according to this, Diaz, it says he is happy at Anfield, but revealed he could explore all the opportunities this summer with interest from La Liga, Giants, Barcelona. So as much as Win thinks Barcelona is a Turkish team, they are one of the biggest in the world. So that will tickle most players. So and I don't think any English football club can persuade a player from staying over going to Barcelona or Real Madrid. So if that's the case, then he might be going over there. I don't know. 100 million is a lot of money, though. A lot of cash. Gary, did you join in on this one?
I mean, listen, Anthony Gordon, apparently market value is around about £65 million. If you look at Anthony Gordon's stats from his start in the Everton Academy, his output on the other end has never been fantastic. I mean, I've just been having a quick glance because I want it to be 100% behind what I say. So in 149 matches, Premier League matches, he scored 25 goals and had 18 assists. That's 9,734 minutes. So his numbers aren't fantastic when it comes to, if you think he can play across the front three. And he's played for Everton a lot of the time through the middle when they were struggling to score goals. Played on the left. He also played sometimes on the right-hand side. So he's had that experience. He's had that knowledge across the top end. So if anybody was to, I'm very much like the rest of the lads. If somebody come in for me for anywhere 70 plus, and I can't see there being 100 million, but if it was 70 plus or 50 plus a player, I'd snap their hands off.
But the only thing I'll say, Gary, is his numbers have gone up exponentially in the last couple of seasons, haven't they? So
Last year, no.
Last year, what are we talking about?
He's still got 9 goals. But I mean, compared to his early days, he got 22 goals in his last 91 games.
He is
about,
a forward.
about 1 in 4.
1 in 4, yeah.
which isn't
Well,
that bad.
it's not only a winger though, DX. I mean, he's played up top for a lot of the time.
Oh, but he's useless up top.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But he has had the opportunities. That's what I'm saying, up top to also shine, which a lot of players don't get when they've got numbers up there. So for me, you've got to start asking yourself. Yes, again, we've got a situation where he's had one good season for us where he looked electric. He signed his contract, but since he signed that contract, he has fallen off the mile a little bit. Now, whether that's because of interest elsewhere, his favoured club of Liverpool, obviously where he was born, who knows? Nobody will ever know the true answer to that. As Wynne said, according to all the reports, he's very happy in the Northeast. But is that just PR?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, I mean, he can't say otherwise. So that stuff
Exactly.
is I don't know. I don't really trust that too much.
I think
Is
just to add in terms of like falling off, I think the team in general, like Newcastle in general, where there was a period that we fell off, and obviously we picked that back up, and that affected Newcastle. There's two places that Newcastle have struggled this season. That's goal efficiency. So yeah, we create a lot of chances, but we didn't always finish all those chances. And Gordon has attributed to that. Harvey Barnes picked up the slack there. Fair play to him. And the other one is offensive impact from the midfield, meaning we don't have enough players from the midfield area who contribute like key passes, through balls, things of that nature. The two main people that do that were Bruno Gomes and Tino Livramento, interestingly. So we don't have enough of those players who provide us through balls. Hence why we're looking at, for instance, the likes of Jacob Ramsey to come in, and we're looking more into a 4-2-3-1 type of formation where you've got two pivots playing in behind number 8, number 10 type of player in João Pedro. So you'll have more, hopefully, of that offensive impact for runners like Gordon, Isak, and whoever plays on the right as well. So all of that's supposed to help. So I think if Gordon does stay, hopefully he does, you'll see him. You'll see a lot more of him. And just to add, he again, Jacob Ramsey and Gordon played together for the England under 21s, 23s. We did a show on it. Like, and there's a good number of articles in terms of how well they played. And I think Eddie Howe is very, very mindful about partnerships between players. So Jacob Ramsey, for instance, has no interest, very little interest in being responsible for being like a goal and assister type of player. But he's really, really good at key passes and through ball. So is João Pedro. Whereas Gordon has found his real talent in front of goal, whether it's creating goals or assisting goals. Excuse me, scoring goals or assisting. So I think those are the type of partnerships that Eddie Howe's trying to create as well. And I think we're going to play a lot more different. I think it was mentioned earlier with having a ball playing goalkeeper and a ball playing right centre backs. I think we're going to be a lot more. We're going to be a lot more back to what we originally were in the second year under Howe, kind of on the front foot. So I think whoever plays up top, whether it's Elanga, João Pedro, Gordon, are going to spend a lot more time in the penalty box is where you want Gordon to be. So as long as Gordon's head is in it, which I think it will be, if he's to stay at Newcastle, I think we'll get a really good output from him.
interesting. The Trafford talks are continuing as well. 30 million is too much for Newcastle apparently. So we are still, I guess, talking about Trafford. I'm not too sure what.
Well, again, you're saying 30 million's too much and all this.
But that's what the club is saying. They don't shoot me, man. Shoot the message. The
No,
club is
but
saying it's
well,
too much.
Whoever is saying it, everybody was. Well, a lot of people were up in arms last summer when we didn't pay the 40 million for Dashvili.
Wait, time out, man. Stop it. Don't you think there is a little bit of a difference between the two? Just a little bit. Come on, old man. Don't try to fight in front of the guest, man. Please don't do that, man. It makes no sense. We're gonna keep the dirt in house, man. Come on.
How well? Yeah. Let's do an interesting comment.
Mama Dash, are you seriously? Somebody can please help me out here.
I think
Are
it's
we
an
really-
interesting one with Dashvili this season because he's going to play with Allison, isn't he? Unless they get rid of Allison. But how do they rotate that? Like Allison's still fairly youngish, 32, 33. So he's got a few more years in the tank, you'd think. How do you get both goalkeepers enough games to keep them happy? or do you use Marmadashvili like they use Kelleher and just play him in the cup?
I'm assuming maybe they're going to have Alisson number one this season, but have Mamadashvili in the cups, and then the following season maybe he takes over. I know it's hard to plan that way in football,
Yeah.
but maybe that's what I would guess.
I mean, he's only 23,
Might-
isn't he? So maybe he'll be happy to rotate in for a couple of years and then be numero uno after that. But yeah, he's a top, obviously a top goalkeeper. It's a shame we couldn't get him. Price was very fair as well. Was it 37 million?
Yeah.
Good business.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to pay for top players.
I don't
how do
know
you-
that. We're paying for
You don't know that. You don't know that Trafford is a top player. We don't know
we're
that.
paying for potential, aren't we? That's what we
Exactly, man.
Tino or Ball or those
30
kind
million is a lot of money. Look, here's the thing, though. Again, I keep saying this:
think it's
perspective is
crazy.
king. Perspective is king. Well, you have not made a proper signing, in the last 3 windows and 16 days. You cannot be your focus. I will criticize if your focus is on Trafford. From where's he from? Barnsley. Where's he from?
Burnley.
Burnley. Okay. Come on, man.
Bournemouth.
It's just not. Fans are not going to like that. Now, if you're
current
if you got
England
proper
number
sign,
3,
if
whatever.
you got proper players in the squad, yeah, you can add a player here and there. People are not going to care about it. But right now, our focus should be somewhere else, man. I keep telling you that.
Signed a few players from Burnley, haven't we, over the last
Well, I agree
Years.
that for
Hendrick.
me, goalkeeper is definitely not
Chris
a
Wood.
priority.
Yeah. So Jay here says, I would say 40 million for Trafford, future England number 1, top Premier League
It's a
quality.
lot. It's a
Well,
lot.
we like to hope that,
30
but
million, 30 million. I would be on that.
yeah.
I haven't seen probably enough of them really to give a definite answer. Personally, like you said, DX. I think if he was top quality going forward in the future, then it may well be worth it. Where you keep it set for the next 10 years. You've got like Lewis Hall, you've got Tino,
Yeah.
you've got these young players
Botman.
playing together. Botman growing together as a back five. That could be quite immense if you've got that sewn up and you don't have to touch that then going forward. I mean, one thing I would say about Trafford is when I did see games 2 years ago in the Premier League with Burnley, he had a nightmare at times, didn't he? Coming out for crosses and
Too skinny, wasn't he?
aye.
So-
But I would just say though that just the little bits I've seen since then, he seems to have bulked out. But also, I think I like his attitude. He seems to be quite bullish in that I'm number 1. I can do it. Give us the ball. I can play with the ball. Do you know what I mean? You need that as a keeper. You really need that mentality when you're on your own in between the sticks. And I think he seems to have that mentality now, which is encouraging. But I just haven't seen enough to say, definitively what I think, really.
By the way, on Pedro from Sky here says that it is claimed that there is a growing confidence that a deal can be done for the Brazilian international, although there's still a lot of work to do. So I have a question for you guys that have been in difficult rooms negotiating for players, especially a mighty win. What is a lot? We have still got a lot of work to do. What does that mean? Because, I mean, if you think a guy is worth 60 million, just say it's 55, 50, 45, but at least send something in. What is a lot of work? I don't understand that. We're not laying brick here, are we? I mean, what is this?
Well, it's exactly what you say. It's pure speculation.
I mean, at some point, we need to stop with the narrative and just say, look, man, take it or how much you want. Like, you negotiate.
Exactly. And to be fair, I think that's basically what PIF do. They say that's the offer, take it or leave it.
No, I'm saying take it or tell me a price, like negotiate. But we're not going to bully top Premier League clubs now. We're not
you
going
can
to
have add-ons, I suppose. You can say, if we qualify for the Champions League, we'll give you another 5.
There's a reason why we're not doing
it.
it.
Win the league, you get another 10. If he plays an X amount of games, whatever. Performance-related add-ons. But the bottom line is you've got to decide what you think he's worth, how much we can afford, and you put that on the table and say, take it or leave it.
Right.
And there's also it's not just about Newcastle. There's the buyers, the buying, there's the selling club, the player themselves. It sounds like we'd spent a lot of time convincing João Pedro as well, going off to Brazil and stuff like that, getting him on board. Then obviously speaking to Brighton and kind of sorting out a fee that we both agree in, a structured payment. Brighton will be also doing their own kind of brinksmanship, telling it. So I don't think it's Newcastle that's leaking this stuff necessarily. I think it's
Right.
Brighton probably letting people know, hey, we're talking about 60 million here. Who else wants João Pedro? And I'm hearing
Well,
on
yeah.
it. I'm hearing Chelsea. So you're going to have a lot of those type of things, but Newcastle, the same thing with Trafford, and that is, if you got the player on board, then a lot of the you got a little bit of leverage going on there for you. So yeah, that's why these things kind of would take
Yeah.
time.
I'll throw
Liverment.
one word out there. Sorry, just
Yep.
quickly.
No, go ahead.
It's the word agents.
Well,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, truly, yeah. There you go. There you go. That's what that has a lot to do with it. Nowadays, you got to worry about that. Before, you know, players were just negotiating their contracts by themselves. Uh, the agent thing now is something that we need to take account. Tino Livramento's performances with the under 21. There's been rumors now that the manager Tuchel is liking him really really well. I mean, he dropped him. I don't know how much he liked him. He dropped him from the. I don't know if that's a thing where go play with the under 21s and develop or whatever. But what do you guys think about him as a future England international, and also what does that mean for Newcastle? And yeah, obviously he's been linked to move away, and Man City won him. So when I was referencing to the player that I would sacrifice, it would be him. What do you guys think about him? As a footballer for the future. If we sign Ilanga for the future and present, why not keep Livramento for future and present as well? Or who would he be somebody that you guys let go? Whoever wants to jump in, go ahead.
I'll definitely keep him. I think you don't want to be selling the young talent. I think he's been such a valuable player for us that when he's played on the left, he's been outstanding. When he's played on the right, he's been good. Not quite as good as on the left, but he's I just think we've done well with that deal. We took a gamble. He'd been out for what over a year, just come back for Southampton for like 2 games, and then we just took a punt. We paid quite a lot of money, 32 million up front, and a bit of a few add-ons. And I think he's been fantastic. I think him and Lewis Hall are two of the best fullbacks in the country for sure. And they're so young that I don't think if you're going to get rid of players and try and bring money in, I think it's got to be players towards the peak of their career, like 27, 28, rather than getting rid of 19, 20, 21-year-olds where they can develop and get better and better for another 5 years. That's what I would anyway.
The only thing I would say there is you're sell players at that peak, and
When they're on the
that
when
to
they're on
me
the
is crazy.
when they're on the decline, when they're on like
Well, so
with
that's what
with
you're saying.
Miggy, we saw he was like he
Yeah,
had
we
half
sold
a
him
great,
when he was
Well,
way too.
no,
That's,
he
let's
had
not
half a great
compare Miggy
season.
to.
He
he
had half
had
a
reached
great
his
season.
potential when we
We
sold
should
him.
have
To be
sold
honest.
him at that point. We could see he'd lost. That was it. That was his patch.
So, well, interesting. Anybody else want to weigh in on Livramento? We got a few minutes left.
Well,
I mean, I've said from the start that you watch the England game the other day. He gets the assist, and he also makes the Rick from falling asleep and not challenging for the equaliser. And I think that is the bad part of Tino Livramento. So you have to ask yourself, what do you want out of your defenders? Do you want them to defend the goal, or do you want them as an attacking outfit?
That was
Because
Kyle Walker.
going forward, he's very, very good. He seems to be involved. He seems to be more involved on the left-hand side than he does on the right-hand side, considering he's a natural right footer. But when you look at him on the left-hand side, he looks very, he's very good. He's involved in everything. And again, he's taken on board that role with the under-21s. He's playing on the left-hand side. So, Carsley's seen something while he's been filling in for Hall that he's given him the international under-21 cap to play on that left-hand side. But like I said, my concern with Tino Livramento is, what do you want out your defenders? Do you want them to defend your goal, or do you want them to attack? Because he doesn't defend very well.
Do you not rate him as a defender?
I don't know.
I don't either, quite honestly.
I think he's quite.
I think he needs to work.
decent defender.
So
Well,
do you think you could learn that, Gary?
I think, listen, I played left back most of my career, and it's one of those positions where you I tried it up, being natural left-footed. I was on the left wing when I was a kid. The older I got, the fatter I got, and the slower I got. It was left back in the changing room at the end. But for me, it's a case of you're never born to defend. You've either got an eye for it. Now, I wasn't a clever player. I was just a dirty bastard. I used to just take them out. If they beat me once, they wouldn't beat me twice. And that's just the way I played. But I look at the way players position, and when I saw the check goal the other day, it was Tino pointed his finger to the player to get onto him, but then they overloaded the box, so that become Tino's guy, player, and he just stands off him. He doesn't make any attempt to get in front of the player. Now, a natural instinct for a defender to do is to do that. That's why I've always said I think Tino Livramento is a wing back rather than a full back.
So,
Because I
Philip,
think he plays more of the attacking role.
you wanted to say something?
No, I just remembered because that's like when you said Tino. I was thinking of Carl Walker, but I think you was talking about another goal.
Yeah.
Gary. Yeah. So so I realised I got that one wrong. But
Okay.
I think look, I think he's an exceptional talent. I think we're building an exceptional back line. Hopefully, a future England back line with Trafford, Guehi, Byrne, Hall, Livramento, and there in today's kind of modern game, as you call it, it's hard to get a
Yeah.
more well-rounded fullbacks. The bar is like your Ashley Coles, really. It doesn't mean that Livramento shouldn't improve. Of course, he should. But the way kind of our formation is a bit sloped. So, for instance, I think Tino looked a lot more better playing the left because Mr. Joe Linton is always there to kind of help provide that cover.
Mm-hmm.
And hence why I personally think Eddie Howe's really trying to do a double pivot, so you can allow the two fullbacks to go on ahead. And if we are caught in transition as it is, you got the two pivots to being able to cover those sides of the ball. So, but he's young, and there are things to work on. I remember that the first game against Bournemouth we played, we conceded him literally doing saying what Gary did, which is a defender going ahead of him not kind of going in front of him and kind of losing his marker there. But he has improved defensively. I do think he has improved defensively. His main attribute is offensively, and sometimes I think Eddie Howe you're gonna have to kind of give and take a little bit there. I think he will improve though, and so I think it's definitely important that we keep him.
Okay. Talking about the defense quickly, the last subject is that we were facing competition. Arsenal now facing involved with Marc Guehi, trying to sign him. And there's another team here that I'm going to look according to the Northern Echo. But what should we do with Marc Guehi? I mean, he seems to be the center back of England at the moment, and it's not Dan Burn, mighty way. No matter how many times you say it, it is Marc Guehi. And the rest, when it comes to that, 70 million pound was what they didn't want to take last season. So, what do we do? Do we let him go? I don't know. I don't know about that, man. I think we got too many bets on this one. We might as well ride it out. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think there's better ball playing. I mean, again, I ain't one. I like to watch players. But if you look at stats, I would go back to Brighton, and the only player I would get from Brighton, and that ain't Joe Pedro, that's Van Hecker.
Now, Chelsea is the one in for. It looks like for Marc Guehi. So right now we will see, mighty win, whether London has a pull over Newcastle. And by the way, it's Chelsea, and it's also Arsenal. So let's see if we can if Fulham can beat us for Marc Guehi. I doubt it. But Tim, let me go with you as I rudely interrupt your sip there of your drink. So
Guinness.
what do you think? Oh, you Guinness. Oh my goodness,
Good man.
yeah, that's good. All right, man. What do you think about Marc Guehi? Should we stay strong for him or just part ways?
I'm kind of thinking we need to cut the chase maybe with this one, as opposed to last summer where we say to Palace, this is our figure, year on year, and I think surely we've had contact with Guehi where he's given indications that he wants to come. Otherwise, why time? So maybe you can say to Guehi, look, you've got a year left in your contract. Tell Palace you're not going to sign a new contract if you don't, you want to go into the club in the summer, whether it's Newcastle or elsewhere, and try and force Palace's hand. I just don't want it to drag out. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think, again, going back to kind of combinations, we've got Cher, who's in his 30s, 33, and then Guehi, like 24, 25. So I think it's a nice balance there between them two for that particular position. He's got the pace, so we need that pace. So I can see why we want him. I just don't want it to drag out. Maybe it will. Maybe it will because it needs to happen because that's who Eddie Howe wants. And
Well,
maybe Palace will kind of relent because they have to as well because he's got a year left in his contract. But
well,
we'll see.
yeah, you got a good point. It looks like, the one thing that we got in our favor though, DX, is that I don't know who Chelsea got for center backs. Who they got for center backs? I can't think of the top of my head.
Tons.
How
Tons of
many do you
stuff.
want?
Yeah, what I mean, proper ones. Who's actually playing?
Christian
over there?
Ladabodero, whatever his name is. They got quite
Well,
a few. I think.
I know
Oh,
that
well,
Arsenal actually got some deadly center backs.
yeah, they've got
Um,
Saliba.
so-
Yeah, well,
Sali- so he-
Saliba and the
Real
Argentinian
Madrid are
guy.
coming in for one of them.
So he'd be going to be a bench player if they don't lose
Yeah.
one of those.
He'd be first.
He knows
choice,
that
yes.
he knows that with Newcastle, with a moral, prudent, and moral, sober, and prudent manager, he would play regardless of Burns of the Burn being an idol of Win. It really wouldn't matter. He would be playing anyway. So, what do you
Brendan
think?
Shaw will still get games next season, but I think that they'll be the first choice, won't they, if they're fit, Guehi and Botman, you'd think. So, but yeah, I would.
Don't know about Botman, but certainly Win. I mean, Gay.
Well, I think Botman deserves to start if he's fit. But yeah, I think he'd be a good signing if the price is right. He's got less than a year left on his contract. They can't be demanding 70, 80 million now. So, I mean, if so, don't go near it. Don't go near him. I would say.
Well, maybe if Chelsea get Gay, we'll get Adebayo.
Oh, God,
Adebayo.
Yeah, well, exactly, we wanted him last summer,
Yeah.
didn't we?
We
And he
did,
went to
and
Chelsea.
he went to Chelsea.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
sat on the bench.
£20 a week. He couldn't compete.
What? I don't know what he's on, but I think
I
it was
mean,
over
that
200.
just spoiled for choice
Yeah,
at the minute.
over
They've got
200,000.
Colwell, Chalobah, Fafana, Badashil, Adebayo, Saw, Vega, and Anselmino, whoever
So
he
why do
is.
they need a
Hey,
centre
that's
back?
Anselmino. I know him. It's a South American guy.
They
Phil,
don't need him
last
now.
word on Gehi. What do you think?
Look, I think the fact that he lifted the FA Cup in Crystal Palace's first 100-year history, it proves Eddie Howe's point why we chased him in the first place last season. And uh, we've established a good relationship. We've proven to him that we definitely want him. I don't know how deeply and what groundwork Chelsea have made. The attraction will be Chelsea, it's his old club, but he will know that he's definitely wanted at Newcastle. He knows that we are definitely building something here. We're in the Champions League, as is Chelsea, but we're in the Champions League. But he'll know that the manager at Newcastle, obviously Eddie Howe, really wants him, and the sporting directors definitely want him.
Is
Yeah, go
sorry.
on.
No,
No,
go
go
ahead.
on. I was just going to say, yeah. So if he's definitely a wanted player for us, he has every opportunity to continue to grow, to continue to go to the World Cup of England as well. As many players at Newcastle can testify, if you play for Newcastle, you end up going and playing for your international team. So yeah,
Right. And that was my question because, you quickly and in a hurry, Newcastle United is filling up with proper internationals.
yes,
And Marc Guehi, who let's put it out there real quick. Who's better than Marc Guehi as far as English internationals are concerned?
within the England team.
What centre
but-
backs?
Yeah. As far as in the England team, who's better than him as a center back?
Oh, John Stones, I'd say, is better.
Who?
John
Oh,
Stones.
I'd
Man
rather
City guy.
Guehi.
Okay, well, it's okay. So you got two spots. So,
If they're fit
listen,
and available, I think what Gay has been is fit and available, and I think we don't know if John Stones is going to be playing. The fact that John Stones is probably leaving Man City to go to Everton is
Is it? I thought
yeah.
that was Carl.
so that
How
is
about Dan Burn?
that yeah.
Dan Burn. I was going to say Dan Burn's the only one that's
well,
better than.
Yeah,
He's
come
the
on,
best.
man. We like Dan Burn though. He was at the Sam Fender concert. People like him. But we're talking real football here. Gay, he's
I'm talking real
he,
football here.
okay. But Mark, so that Newcastle United now they're on another level, man, because the type of players that we would be getting are different caliber, and that's what we need to be, if we want to succeed.
That's
Last
right.
but not least, I just want
And
to
that
mention.
doesn't come cheap.
Well, I agree with you. So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, just before we go, I mean, we were talking before. You've got to ask yourself: is what type of centre back is he looking for? Now he's going to be looking for somebody very similar on the same ilk as Shaw, who's going to be a type of ball playing defender that can break lines. Now, I know there's been a lot of people in the chat saying that they wouldn't have Van Hecker, but there's not a defender in the Premier League that's got more breaking line passes than Van Hecker this season, even more than Guehi. He runs with the ball very well. And that's what I'm saying. Again, you've got to stop just thinking about, his defensive role. You've got to ask yourself, what type of player is Eddie Howe looking for? The reasons why he's going for Marc Guehi won't be just for his defensive qualities. It will also be his passing and ball playing out of midfield, out of defence.
He certainly gives you security, and the type of center back Eddie wants is certainly Marc Guehi, because he's been wanting him forever.
Yeah, and he breaks the first. So like it's the teams that cause us most grief are the ones that are really good at their mid block. And the fact that he can literally drop a shoulder and get past the first press from the forwards, he totally opens up the pitch for us. And that's a problem for any opposition team.
Any opposition,
and that's the key for us, honestly. So, it's either him or players like him. Van Heck, again, is an incredible player as well. I don't think Eddie Howe necessarily. If we get João Pedro, we can't bring Heck with him. So, for I don't know if anybody knows the part of the reason why João Pedro is leaving is because of a conflict with Mr. Heck. So, I don't think either of them would like that. But I think Heck is going to have a heck of a career. Actually, excuse me the pun. He's going to be absolutely exceptional. But obviously,
it wouldn't be the first time we signed somebody that's had an altercation with us. I mean, Gordon is one of them. Gordon is one of them himself, so he certainly wouldn't mind.
That's true. It might be too soon for João Pedro.
But just honorable mention. Sad to hear the passing of former Newcastle United. Talking about left backs, Bill McKinney passed away at 88 years of age. Former Toon player back in the 50s when Mighty Win was 50. So but we are 100. Mighty Win's 100 now, man. When we gonna celebrate the 100-year-old Mighty Win? We gotta do that sometime. But anyway,
if I say 90, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we hope you do, brother. We hope you do.
And the other thing that Gary brought to my attention this afternoon that I've just
Phil, we got to hurry up, man. Phil's got a show, man. Come on.
No, I've got a show tomorrow, but
Oh, is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's that Diarmid O'Carroll has left as under-21 coach.
Oh yeah.
And he's taken up the first team coach's job at Sparta Prague.
Oh yeah, that is true. I had that one as well. So damn it, I lost it.
We're now looking for a new academy. Well, first team.
Well,
under-21 coach.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, if you got the caliber to do it, DX, go apply, man.
And give it a go.
Gary, go apply, brother.
I think Phil's younger than me.
Phil as well. There you go.
My legs have gone.
You never know. You never know, man.
I don't often hear people say Phil's younger, looks younger than me, so I'll take that.
I bet you are, Phil.
Anyways, listen, you can subscribe to Toon Tactics and Philip over here. I'll shoot the link right there. So go hit the link, subscribe to the channel, and get him going. Good lad, of course. We go way back though, Philip, man. We go way back.
Absolutely.
Back, man. Whoo, back. 2 people watching.
Yes.
But anyways, I'm glad you're doing well, mate. Welcome
sir.
back anytime. And to the rest of the last DX, Tim, Gary, Win, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow for our live show, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How are the lads?
Lasses and bands.